Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Teaching Tip Tuesday. I'm Michelle, School Achievement Strategist and CEO of LCT-E Learning Solutions. We recognize that many teachers struggle with having the right tools to tackle challenges that they face with diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's why we are so passionate about using our experience, 20 years of experience in education, to serve teachers as they help their students flourish in their educational settings, and they flourish socially, emotionally, academically, and culturally. So today, we are going to talk about 3 tips that helps teachers set a positive and productive tone at the beginning of the school year so that they can avoid disruptive behaviors and help their students adjust misbehaviors. So tip number 1 is to use a seating chart. The first thing that I want to say about that is that seating arrangements should definitely vary based on what the students are participating in and what the students are doing. If they are working in small groups, if they're working independently, if you're having a Socratic seminar that day, if the students are doing peer conferencing, if they're participating in mini lessons, if they're working in centers or participating in learning stations, these all look very different in terms of your seating arrangement. So one recommendation that I have is that you should avoid seating students by test scores. We already know that testing comes with high stakes for students, and we don't want to add any pressures or even shame for certain students in the classroom as it relates to their test scores, right? Another recommendation I have is to give students an opportunity to choose the seating for the activity that they're going to do that day in class. When I was in the classroom, I did change my seating arrangements often. Of course, I loved Socratic seminars and Socratic seminar circles, but I also really liked this U-shaped arrangement that I would do, and my students liked that as well. So when it comes to using a seating chart, you want to promote seating choice, and you also want seating variety, but use a seating chart when your students are participating in all of these different types of seating arrangements, okay? So tip number 2 is to include an activity to learn the students' names fast. In a previous live, I did talk about some activities that you can do at the beginning of the year for students to learn their names. There are tons of lessons and activities out there that can help you learn student names. Some things that come off the top of my head are name stories, name memes, name poems, okay? One quick recommendation that I have regarding that is to have the students share their name activities, not just with you, but also with their peers, because that will allow everybody in the environment or in the educational setting to learn those names quickly. You can even use a technology tool like Microsoft Flip for students to record their name stories, their name poems, even their name pronunciations, so that the learning of the names can happen quickly. Microsoft Flip has lots of ready-made name activities for the beginning of the school year that you can use right away. All you have to do is go to the Microsoft Flip Discovery Library and check out what they have and see what you can use in your setting for your grade level, for your subject area, and what you can adapt to your students. Tip number 3 is to get to know the students' strengths and their interests. You can do this in a few ways. One way is to ask the students directly. They can complete a strengths assessment, like a multiple intelligence survey, or they can even create their own strengths resume. You can also send home a needs assessment or parent survey where you ask questions related to the students' strengths and their interests and even their challenges, and have the parents and the students complete that and respond. And that can also give you insight into the student's strengths and interests. Whichever option you choose, though, you want to provide a format for them to respond in a variety of ways, right? They can choose to respond in writing. You may have them respond creatively, maybe with, the example I said earlier with the strengths resume. It could be a visual resume. So you can even use tools, again, like Microsoft Flip, that allows them to respond in video or even audio, but you want to give them choice and you want to give them options here. Okay, so we talked about three tips to set a positive and productive tone at the beginning of the school year to avoid disruptive behaviors and misbehaviors. So tip number 1 was using a seating chart. Tip number 2 was including an activity that helps you to learn the students' names quickly. And tip number 3 was to get to know the students' strengths and interests. I am curious to see what other strategies you may use that helps you to set that positive and productive tone at the beginning of the school year. We would love to hear from you. So tell us the value you got from our quick conversation this evening, and tell us what you need next. Maybe you need a little bit more information on what a strengths resume is. Drop that in the chat and let us know. So include your thoughts and your ideas in the chat, and we will comment back. So you also can go to LCT-E to learn more about us and what we do and connect with us directly there. So we look forward to chatting with you again, and we will see you next time. Have a good night. Bye.